I'm the man in the mine, hands raw, face black and crossing the line. Yeah, I try, yeah, I fall, yeah, I try every time. I'm the man in the mine. I'm the man in the mine.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Minerside Chat here. Excited. We have some special guests that we're bringing on. Today it's going to be Ivan from Omnipair and Garrett, a community member from Omnipair's community, to talk a little bit more about Omnipair and the pools that recently got set up for OR over there. So excited to get to that segment. But always, of course, we like to start off with a nice little kickoff going in regards to the market and some recent news. So, Brian, what have you heard so far on the news today?
On the well, just beknownst to me right now, USDT was used to bail out Drift, so that's new. That's I don't have much details there, so we're not going to spend much time on that. But that's new. We were just talking about that before the show started with our guests here. Um,
Yes, we were.
Otherwise, what a slingshot! It just continues to be what's going to happen next in the Middle East. What's going to happen next in crypto? Crypto's going up. Finally, there's a relief rally. Maybe are we going back down? Are we going to stay up? Are we going to go up to the moon forever and all of us win forever and ever? I just have so many
It's,
questions and I don't have
it,
answers.
I think a lot of people are still going to be very optimistically cautious, right? Or cautiously optimistic in regards to the market currently. We are seeing a relief rally. Primarily, actually, it seems more so in altcoins than they seem to be outperforming Bitcoin, which is actually a really good sign because for a while, anytime that Bitcoin would pump, there would be almost no relief in the altcoin space at all. So, and it seems to be translating pretty well to OR as well. I don't know if you heard, but there was a recent whale that came in and bought, I think, $75,000 worth of ore just the other day. So
Yeah, Zeckwell,
pretty
from what I
exciting.
understand.
Oh, really? So you know who it is?
I don't know who it is, but I saw some posts on X about it, and they said he was a Zec
Really?
whale. Yeah, so he
Oh.
likes the privacy, the potential privacy here.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see that because I know a lot of people were kind of lambasting why did we, incorporate privacy and, it might not be for everybody, but even if it captures 1% of the privacy market, that's still inflows for OR, which is fantastic to see. So I'm glad that we saw, the product kind of expand in different areas just to see, what kind of ground we can capture in regards to bringing new people to the community. Um, I know the big news that I saw recently was in regards to World Liberty Financial. So, have you heard anything about this story yet, Brian?
I have, and there's all kinds of stuff about it. There's all kinds of news about the WLFI. There's Justin Sun's on the board. The Trumps have heavily sold into the pumps and shorted this and that. There's so much floating around about this. It's definitely got creepy. Should this be happening vibes? And well, on one side, I appreciate some of the laws and some of the accomplishments we have in crypto because the Trump administration is friendly to it. Then on the other side of that coin, remember, there's two faces to every coin. We have WLFI, we have the Trump coin, the Melania coin, all this bizarre stuff from a leader in our nation that and one side benefits and the other side not so much. So WLFI is definitely on the side of things, in my opinion. Definitely so I'm a little skeeved out, but yeah, let's go over it.
For sure. So, if people are not aware of the controversy, I think there's even some people that might have not even really been aware of what's going on with World Liberty Financial. They just kind of heard, oh, the Trump administration's, or, the people or the Trump family's kind of putting together this crypto venture. But there's a lot of controversy that's recently got stirred up that kind of put everything into perspective in regards to World Liberty Financial and the events that occurred with them. So as obviously you can see on the screen here, this is kind of the post that I first kind of got privy to, and Brian's looking through now, talking about how World Liberty Financial came to be just 3 days before the inauguration. That in itself is not a super big red flag, right? But a lot of the supply was funneled off into these separate like LLCs. So they got like big vested interests into WLFI to basically obfuscate or kind of offshore a lot of the tokens for this venture. Um, a lot of the big controversies. Number one, there's a huge $500 million stake from the UAE that's getting probed right now by the House, where REM Investment, an entity that's linked to the UAE royal family, purchased a 49% stake in World Liberty Financial for $500 million. Apparently, the deal was signed just 4 days before Trump's second inauguration, and critics argue that this violates the emoluments clause of the Constitution, and apparently is potentially linked to whether this investment could be like influenced by the decision to approve export licenses for semiconductors to the UAE, and they're worried that that technology could leak to China, cause a whole bunch of issues in regards to our war of AI against China, or the US's war against China in regards to leading the AI race.
It's
But
China.
that's not. It's China. So, that being itself is one huge controversy. But of course, this thing is just laden with various
There's a
controversies.
lot here.
Once again, you talked about Justin Sun. He became a $75 million investor in World Liberty Financial, and he's one of the biggest individual investors in World Liberty Financial. And after he made that investment, they pardoned him. And they had these SEC fraud charges against him, and he made this investment, and everything just kind of went away. Also,
Spooky.
CZ, another very familiar name, he received a presidential pardon, and he had a big deal with WLFI in regards to in their stable coin. So it just seems like there's a lot of people that are involved in crypto that kind of use this as kind of an out to get past all of the uh, legal gray ground and jurisdiction and all of that good stuff with the U.S. This was kind of their way of getting a jail out of free card. Is that kind of how you'd best put it, Brian?
I mean, there's a lot of spooky stuff in here that doesn't seem to, at the surface, look good. It's just 1 + 2 + 3 + 4. It just keeps adding up to being like, hey, there's a lot of questionable things happening in WLFI. I want nothing to do with it. And obviously, anybody who's getting involved for scratch my back, I'll scratch yours purposes, for money laundering purposes, if we speculate to that degree, so that you could export, import, get out of jail free, etc. Very, very spooky little business here. And then to top it off, of course, the coin has dumped relentlessly, if I recall. The chart does not look good. And you're having all this funds that are locked up. From my understanding, people have locked funds in this, and they have to watch their buying power, their investment dwindle to nothingness. And what's going to be of this after Trump's out of office? Is the family going to still be interested in running this, or are they just going to hand over the carcass to someone else and wipe their hands of it? Really, it's really questionable. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 questions of questionability. Definitely 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that we're in this timeline now where originally crypto was created essentially to fight against the traditional capitalism that was shown as being corrupt and creating all of these problems for the regular man, and to give them kind of an out, to create something that the people could own. And now cryptocurrency is being used as a vehicle for the elite to essentially skirt the law again. So it's quite a big turn to see something like this on this kind of scale. We always knew, corruption would end up in cryptocurrency, but to have it at this degree and at this high of a level is pretty shocking.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I'm fully shocked. Obviously, we kind of saw these events as they were occurring, but to see that post the other day that really put everything together in one clean package, to give you some perspective on the entirety of it, I think was shocking to see.
Yeah, I mean, in the old days, at least I knew if I got rugged by someone in sub-Saharan Africa, I was feeding their village. You laugh about it. Oh, that was a pretty good rug, and then you just move on. But these guys, they're building something up that makes the old, especially I think boomers would be really susceptible to this. They see Donald Trump, his family, all involved, and if they have any exposure to crypto or any knowledge to get into crypto, yeah, it has faces that they might trust. As a Republican voter, you might put more money into this than other products in the space that are far more legitimate, far less extractive, and far more fairly distributed, like Ore, of course, amongst many other better products than what WLFI is offering.
Absolutely. And I know, if our guests want to weigh in, feel free. And Mad Hatter's saying, why is the OR logo showing up under WLFI on the screen? Brian has
I have
that
control
logo up
over
at all
this.
times.
Yes, it's always there. No, we Ore has nothing to do with WLFI.
Oh,
There,
no.
fixed it. Fixed it.
David's a jerk.
Excuse me. Now, yeah, that's why we're here, right? That's why this is the product we've kind of focused on, Ore and its ecosystem, and we don't need to go into super beat you on the head over the preaching to the choir, uh, uh, soliloquy here, but it's why we're here. We want the fairness, we want the randomness, we want the lack of VCs and insiders, and it's right here. And it's the best. It's the best one. It's the one I trust the most. So that's all there is to it. So WLFI is a no for me on the investment. I'm going to give it an X. I'm not touching that with a 90-foot pole.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see, what's going on in the news nowadays. But glad to be part of a project that isn't really laden with these types of controversies. So, do our guests have any input on the WLFI story or on Drift getting bailed out today?
I thought the World Liberty post was pretty scary. I mean, the just the fact that they froze all of Justin Sun's tokens, and now he has to agree to this governance proposal in order to potentially unlock them. I mean, it's it just kind of shows you maybe like the darker side of crypto and why we need these permissionless systems, but they really just tricked them. I mean, I don't think any of these freezing abilities were in the original contract, and then right before the sale went live, they upgraded the contract and froze his tokens. It's pretty scary.
Great,
Yeah.
Justin Sun, good job. He fell for it. Fell for it award.
So speaking of freezing, and I know we didn't really have this in our show notes, but you just reminded me of, I don't know if you guys have been following the story regarding BIP 361, the proposal for Bitcoin. Have you guys heard about this?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Interesting.
I haven't, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, I will catch you up. So there is the BIP 361. It's the Improvement Proposal 361. So essentially, it's titled the Post-Quantum Migration and Legacy Signature Sunset Proposal. So it's supposed to be designed to protect the Bitcoin network from Q-Day or, being quantum resistant, essentially. And right now, essentially what they are proposing is they have a phase A where the network prohibits users from sending any new BTC to legacy quantum vulnerable addresses. Like you can still spend from them, but you can't receive into those wallets anymore. Then after 5 years, like after the activation, it'll be Flag Day or Sunset Day, where the network officially stops recognizing these old ECDSA and Schnorr signatures. So any funds that are remaining in those addresses become permanently unspendable or frozen. So it's a big controversy that, we're essentially saying if you don't upgrade to our new proposal, your Bitcoin will eventually just be
It's
locked.
gone.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
and they're talking about Satoshi's wallet. That's going to be 1.1 million Bitcoin that's just frozen and unspendable. Now, there has been some talk about a phase C, that's still under research, that would allow legitimate owners of frozen funds to reclaim using ZK proofs to prove they still have their original seed phrase without revealing the public key. I don't know if that's something that could even be put into place properly without it causing further exposure. But it's really interesting to look at where Bitcoin is going to try to put this controversial proposal into place that essentially seems like it goes very far against what a lot of people believe in for Bitcoin. The fact that, we're talking about, essentially a tyrannical kind of proposal, right? Where, okay, you don't like what we put in place and you want to stay legacy. Well, too bad. One day your coins are just useless. So I know there's some pro arguments, some con arguments. I mean, people are calling it authoritarian, forced confiscation. And some people are saying, listen, one way or another, we got to get to quantum, and those are going to be vulnerable addresses that, if somebody hacks it, that's going to be 1.1 million Bitcoin that just hits the market and dumps it. So I don't know where I sit on it yet. I'm still kind of mulling it over. But that's kind of the whole situation. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it's super interesting.
Another day in
I see,
crypto.
absolutely. I see
Another
that
day.
Mad Hatter does not like it. Shadow does not like it. Spuddy seems like he does not like it. So it seems like, the people that are part of Orb, I think a lot of us are kind of more so on the crypto purist side of things. So I would kind of agree with you. It sounds pretty harsh. There's got to be another way to approach this with some kind of, compromise rather than just, hey, if you don't upgrade, too bad, your coins are gone. I mean, I think
Proposal.
that could have, yeah, I think that might end up causing, the new fork war, to be honest with you. We could be ending up getting to it. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Idea. All right. The frozen
I think
Bitcoin should be sent to our ore mines.
I think there is maybe a fork as part of the proposed solution, but I think it's interesting that some of the crypto purists are the ones making this proposal. Like Jameson Lopp is someone that I always look to for information when I was learning about Bitcoin, and they seem to be behind it. So I think that's interesting. It kind of goes against the ethos of crypto, but it could cause a lot of damage if those Bitcoin fell into the wrong hands. I mean, it's over 5% of the supply, but when you think about all the lost Bitcoin that's out there and what the real supply is, it's could be much more than that. So it's pretty scary.
I have no
Yeah,
opinion,
Yeah,
and
truly. Yet. I don't have a Bitcoin right now. Not sure. Not sure how this plays out.
yeah, and I also I wouldn't be able to tell you the alternative solutions that maybe would be better for this, but from a first glance, I really think it's highly controversial, yeah. And I assume it won't pass, and I think there's a better way to do this for Bitcoin. Maybe this is the kind of natural, unfortunate evolution of Bitcoin, but hopefully we stay in the slightly more cypherpunk environment.
Is
I think
Solana already
honestly,
quantum resistant?
I don't know if it's fully quantum. It's much more modular or much more nimble to be able to move to quantum resistance. Whereas, Bitcoin, you need to get a consensus. Otherwise, you cause a fork. I think, honestly, this, even in its current form, might pass. I mean, you have such a centralization of the large miners at this point, and it seems like it's getting some support from those large miners. They own so much of the network at this point that this could pass unless somebody comes up with a better idea. And that's pretty scary to think about that Bitcoin has gotten so centralized at this point
But
that, I mean, a few big players are able to sway the vote that much.
but potentially chopping the circulating supply down to something like 17 million. I mean, that because then those old wallets are truly locked and lost and are incompatible. So at that point, that would be crazy too. Another crazy outcome that would benefit the scarcity advocates and the miners.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there are positives to it as well. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of Bitcoin that is never going to be able to enter circulation unless, they have this phase C that, works out to allow people to rescue their Bitcoin from legacy addresses. But at what cost, right? I think Satoshi would say that's the thing. Some people are arguing that Satoshi would call it a donation if coins got frozen, right? And some people are arguing, well, it's totally against the cypherpunk vision to have any coins ever get frozen. If you lose your coins, that's a different story. That's a gift for everyone because those coins are off the market because of your own stupidity. But to have somebody come in and say your coins are no longer valid, I think goes against the original vision of it personally. yeah, it's just I don't know what direction we're really going with this. So, Mad Hatter says in the chat, Solana is 100% quantum vulnerable as their address structure exposes the full public key. Deloitte's analysis found 65% of Ethereum is in quantum vulnerable accounts, but PDAs are not. So Squads or Dean's Winternet's vault already works, and I think yeah, he's got it's a great stat there to bring up, and we will get to a point where as we get closer to actually seeing the threat of quantum, like I said, I think Solana is going to be much easier to migrate to quantum resistance than something like Bitcoin, unless they do something crazy like this. But
I have no
yeah,
idea what
so
Dean Winterschnitt's fault is. You'll have to tell us about us in the chat, Mad Hatter. I have no idea what you're talking
yeah,
about.
Mad Hatter's dropping some knowledge here that I'm not even close to
50
being
cent
aware of,
words.
So, but yeah, that's kind of the recent news that we've had on the market. Other than that, everything is green and peachy. All the stuff's going up, and we're really happy to see it. It seems like every time we hold a Minerside Chat, we end up around the mid 50s, whether it's down or up. So, or is following the same trend as usual. This time we're on the upside, which is awesome to see, and I see a lot of the high mother loads lately, which has been fun to see that change of pace too. Um, Next, do you want to go over the Mineshaft Weekly before we head into our product showcase here?
Sure. Thank you. So Zen Research, the Mineshaft Weekly, or V4 Inbound. So if you're not following at Zen Research, please go follow him. Do so now. He's one of the best resources for weekly updates on OR. So what did he have to talk about with his last Mineshaft Weekly? The tease of OR version 4. So there was a very mysterious comment from HHC. Posted a comment that read proof of work to random number generator to question, question, question. Now, that's what RNG is, random number generator. Probably lots of you know it, but in case you don't. So that's the question. What the heck is he working on? And does this have to do with this hardware thing he's been working on behind the scenes? We don't know. There wasn't a whole lot more information released. I saw some squiggly lines as a picture, but it didn't explain anything to me. And there's so many questions, and you just cannot squeeze HHC. He just tight-lipped. So whatever OR V4 is, I hope it cooks, and I hope it changes the game yet again in a good way. We can't make, in my opinion, we can't make too drastic of a change all at once. But if it's gradual and with intent and focus to make OR more fair, more easily distributable, whatever that plan is, I'm for it. And to get more people mining, go for it. V4.
All right. 30-second elevator pitch from each of the people in here. What is OR V4? What is it to you? Let's hear it.
Mining something hardware, maybe a hat that I can wear that mines off solar energy on the bill for OR. So it keeps me outside, makes me touch grass.
Solar
Otherwise,
mining.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Do you know? Are you holding out on us? Get him! Get him!
Yeah, guys, putting us on the spot. I have no idea either.
I wouldn't be surprised if if there's some changes to obviously the mining mechanism, maybe making it simpler to deploy Sol, maybe allowing more assets besides just Sol to be used. I'm not sure, and maybe some changes. I could see some changes that would maybe incentivize miners to hold more. I'm not really sure, but I could see some playing around with the unrefined ore incentives or maybe the staking incentives. I'm not sure though.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good guess. I like the multi-asset mining. That's a solid win if we did that.
Yeah, I think we don't have a lot of information, so it's obviously just fun to speculate what it could be. But obviously, it sounds like he's going to change something in regards to how mining works, because he's talking about proof of work to RNG to question mark, whatever the question mark might be.
And he's excited.
So
you can tell.
I haven't seen him this excited, and I will tell you on the back end, I haven't seen him working this hard in a while. He really wants to make sure that this is done right, and bring value to everybody in the community in regards to this. Whenever HAC starts to cook, he's just heads down. He's going to make this the best thing, or the best version of that concept possible. And then he told me personally he doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't want the forks out there to build a sloppy version of it and ship it out before we're able to. So he wants to make sure everything runs perfectly and it hits the ground running. And he really wants he's hoping that it grabs mind share at the same time. And he really truly believes this idea will garner mind share from the Solana community, from the bigwigs, to be able to repost it and really bring some fire back into the mines as well. So pretty excited to see how that's going to look once it comes out and what effects it'll have.
Yeah, I love Copycats hate this one weird trick. Yeah, he's absolutely right to keep it under wraps. He just better not email it to somebody like the Avatar movie. That's a shame. It's
So,
quite the
and then
leak
there was the
there.
Mine Master competition, right?
Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. You caught me off guard. Yeah, the My Master competition back in April and heated up. The competition is seeing increased participation and improved soul ore ratios, and it's been over a week into the competition. The current leaderboard is this golf ball, Meraxes, and Richard Coin. Um, so these guys are running off of Mine More, which you guys are familiar with Mine More, and the competitions that they run for the top miner. These are something they've been doing frequently, so we love seeing competition in the ore space or just innovation on orcs. Ore is already a game; it's already gamified. It could be mining, it could be gambling to people. Well, now on another layer, there's another product building on top of ore and having even more rewards due to their innovations. So we love to see innovations like this. Competitions in the mines are always fine.
Those guys are
And
doing really well now. I mean, those averages per ore are pretty insane, especially now after ore pumped. I mean, we're sitting at like point
BNL is going to be
0.6
great for them.
Solana. Yeah, it was what like 0.44 when they were mining at that range, and now it's at 0.6. So they're really up big at this point.
Yeah, good on
Really
them
nice to
for
see.
keeping the mines going during the downturn. That's all what it's all about. I was on and off, but I definitely have been running a few miners on different platforms lately. So, just got to do it. Do it when it hurts. Spend the money.
So what do we got here? What's the next story?
The auto miners keep refining. This week, MineMore holds another insider chat with Poker Chess Man, that would be Mad Hatter, covering problems surrounding
Oh, yeah.
BTC. And then we also had Dopamine. Now, this is something I'm not familiar with. The new entrant, Dopamine by Impify, redesigns their UI for mining and introduces a spinning wheel that allows users to pick a number that represents a block to mine ore. So it looks like there's another builder on top of ore putting out another UI UX innovation. And this is definitely, I would say the roulette wheel is definitely on the verge of gambling for ore. And again, I don't know how all this works because I see they've replaced the miners with dollar signs. I'm guessing that's how much soul is on each tile. I don't know. I'm speculating here, but we'll have to take a look at it ourselves, Mr. Fronk, and see if this gentleman would like to come on the show and explain his product.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one story that's actually more recent than the most recent Mineshaft Weekly here. Volble is another entrant into the OR community and OR ecosystem. So it is a word game. I think you play. I haven't checked it out yet. I haven't had
I
a
have.
chance, but you pay $1 per game to compete on their leaderboards, and the top players win USDC prizes. They were originally going to run a Volble token, but they instead decided to align themselves to integrate OR as the utility token for their project. So you can earn like activity points that you can swap for OR directly from your profile. If you get stuck during a game, you can spend a small amount of OR for like hints to reveal like a correct letter. So it's for those people that like those Wordle type games but want the crypto spin on it.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see, more and more projects right now are kind of gravitating towards OR and want to be part of the ecosystem, which is super exciting to see because that's going to grow our base and it's going to strengthen the use case for OR.
And more of this will come because why launch your own code token that doesn't have utility when you can build off something that's already there, which has utility, which has staying power and longevity.
Absolutely. And then looking through the remainder of the stories here, how are the revenue numbers looking?
Perfect. I have that tab up. One moment. Let me find it. Here we are. All right. So I went to DeFi Llama because this is one of the tools that Zin uses in his Mineshaft Weekly. I sorted by Solana to check where we are on the grand scheme of revenue. And if you look at Pump taking number one and Jupiter, big derivatives, big launch pads. Let's keep scrolling down. Right now, we're at number 17 today on the 24-hour mark. But I think we've been as high as, 10? Depending. And as the mines heat up and ore becomes more valuable because the price goes up, more people are going to mine, and we'll probably see this climb back up to $100,000 fees again, which would put us up closer to 10. I think we've had at most we had $300,000 one day that I saw in fees, which would put us at number 6 in a 24-hour period. So ore is here, and it's making more money than many other chains in their entirety that are worth billions and billions of dollars, shamefully worth billions of dollars, yet collect almost no fees, or makes more money than most layer twos on Ethereum. It's a crazy state of crypto that those products can be worth what they are. Yet Or is definitely a newer player, but it's worth what it is, and we're gonna change that. We're gonna keep mining. Just keep mining.
Absolutely.
Bonk. Just keep mining.
So I'll bring up two more things for you, and then we will go into the product showcase because I know we're running a little bit long. Number one, the unrefined ore has been climbing over the past few weeks. Even this was an article from last week where we were at 63.7. We're already at 65.2. So more and more people are now holding on to their unrefined ore rather than just claiming and dumping it on the market. It's very nice to see that the holder mentality is starting to take force within the mines. That's a huge turnaround for us. So the price increases, less people dump ore. The price increases, less people dump ore. It's going to really show we had that inflection point from the 30s. So I'm really excited to see that. And then one last thing. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but there is going to be an Ore movie coming out. Have you heard about this, Brian?
I have. I didn't pull it up for this episode. I forgot about it, but I have. There's some research firm that's going to release some type of ore film. Now, who is it? So I can quickly search them.
So they're called the Wiseman Alpha. If you look up Wiseman Mentors, it should pop up. So they are actually super ecstatic about ore. They're big ore investors, and they have groups that are invested in ore as well. So they just doing it for the love of the game apparently. And they're putting together this film. Apparently it's going to be like a 25 or 30-minute film about the history of ore, the ups, the downs, the struggles, and the triumphs, all about ore. They actually have reached out for comment to several community members apparently. And I think Trey is even meeting with them today to kind of fill them in about how it felt through the ups and the downs, not just the history, but how it felt to be somebody on the ground during the time. So I'm super excited because I know that they did it for just a few other projects. So it's super cool to think that Ore's going to have its own movie.
Do they need an intro? I could custom make them as many shirtless miners sweating in the mines as they need. Buff shirtless miners. Oddly enough, I get blocked multiple times when I try to generate these images. I just type in shirtless miner slaving away in the mine or something, and it says this is deemed as inappropriate content. I'm like, no, it can't be. It's just a man without a shirt. What's so wrong about that? We want to mine. We want to be big sweaty men, chads, mining this ore. But it's a hit or miss. But if they need anything, I'm available. So you can drop my number. Go ahead.
For sure. So that's kind of cool. Catching everybody up on the news in the market, and then with ore itself. I think there's a lot of exciting things to come in the sector itself, as well as for ore specifically. So glad we could kind of catch everybody up on what's going on. But I'm excited because our next segment, we're going to go over a new product here that's integrated ore into their product, Omnipair. So I will let Brian take it away, and let's go ahead and do some intros and learn a little bit more.
All right, guys. So I'm on Omnipair.fi. We saw this a few weeks ago. Introduced. Why don't one of you gentlemen go ahead and tell us what is Omnipair and how does it work?
Sure, I would be happy to do that. And thanks again, guys, for having me on. Hello, everyone who's listening and watching. So Omnipair is a permissionless spot and margin protocol on Solana that combines AMM, or specifically CPMM functionality, with isolated Oracless lending logic. What this means is it is the first protocol to enable anyone to launch for any SPL pair a market that contains both or powers both swaps, borrowing, and spot leverage in one. And as we know, currently lending only supports a very, very small set of assets that require, external Oracle price feeds, which isn't a very scalable model if we want all or at least many more assets in DeFi to get collateral utility. At the same time, we also know that oracles are a huge attack vector that has unfortunately given us some bad days in DeFi. And this new primitive enables any asset to just permissionlessly enable a lending market right natively to its spot liquidity.
That's very interesting because when you mention oracles, and for anybody not familiar, when you want to get your token listed on one of these oracle services, I'm not sure if they're still doing it for free, but I do recall that Chainlink wanted something from our product a while back, for who I used to work for. So it's not always free for a product to get put on those oracles. And maybe if they are picked up because they're a very popular product and lots of people are asking for those price feeds, again, like you said, they're manipulable. They have failings. So you don't have an oracle behind this product. You're basically
We do not.
wow.
So
Yeah.
how are you getting
And
price info if you don't have an oracle, if you don't mind
yeah,
explaining?
yeah, of course. And by the way, it's not only that we have no external oracles, it is actually that Omnipair has zero external dependencies, so liquidations are also fully internalized. But I will get to that as well. So for lending pricing, every pool uses a separate time-weighted EMA, so it's a time-weighted moving average of a pool's spot price to calculate lending risk. And instead of fixed LTVs like traditional protocols have, we have something called dynamic collateral factors, which uses a pool's EMA of historical, basically price activity in that pool, and determines the value of a user's collateral in real time based on the impact of that borrow on the pool. So things like, how deep the pool is, how big the borrow is, and every user, depending on when they're borrowing, will have a real time, their collateral valued in real time. And what this also enables is when spot and lending lives and is used by the same shared liquidity, it enables margin, or let's say spot leverage on any token by looping, essentially looping your borrow position.
So this is kind of a jump in tech from all the Oracle systems to this now time-weighted moving average, completely internally run. I mean, that's not how most of
Yeah.
these seem to work. This seems to be an innovation in the space that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, we're quite new still. We've been live for about 2 months, and we launched our beta. Yep. And as you can see, we currently have 37 markets. Already some, maybe if you had to explore markets.
Oh, right. Yeah. Take me around.
Yeah.
Show me what to do.
Yeah, for sure. So this is our main markets page. Oh, and let me maybe give some context for LPs, which is important as well. So on, let's say, a standard AMM, LPs only generate fees of swap fees. And then a lot of that spot liquidity sits idle in between swaps. On Omnipair, the same deposit earns swap fees as well as borrow and margin interest. essentially earning LPs an additional revenue stream inside the same standard liquidity pool.
I see. So you basically combined Aave with Uniswap and ETH language into one system that is drawing from both of those sides of the equation, the loans and the swaps, and putting that into one total APY.
Yep, correct. And every pool or market is entirely isolated. So risk stays fully isolated to every pair.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah. We're very excited this it's finally live and growing. And so this is the markets page. This is where you'll see the APYs for each pool. If you, let's say on the Meta USDC pool, if you go hover over the little green thing in the APY, it'll just show the breakdown between swap APY and the borrow interest. You'll see your TVL, the volume the market had in the last 24 hours, the total debt that is currently in those markets. We currently have, a few top pools showing great utilization metrics, which users either can basically just deposit, let's say they're holding Meta or staked Or, they deposit it as collateral and can borrow against it and access liquidity without selling their position.
And they're
If
still
you
earning
click on a
swap
market,
fees.
sorry,
And they're still earning swap fees.
that's if you're an LP in the market as well.
I see. All right. I'm sorry. What did you want me to click on?
We can click on the market. Let's say the staked Or USDC. That would be great. Yeah, this is some more information about the market and the chart, which is the time-weighted EMA of the pool. Then on the right, you can again see borrow rates, the market utilization, which USDC currently here is at 17%. And maybe I could also walk you through a borrow if we go to the borrow tab.
Over here, this top one.
Right here. Yeah, that works.
All right, borrow. So I'm here.
Perfect. Is your wallet connected? I can't fully
It
see because
is.
of the little
Yeah,
profile picture.
I'm connected.
Oh yeah, I see. All right, so imagine we'll start with the borrow, and then I can also kind of explain and walk through how this can also be turned into a loop. Let's say you have one staked Or and you want to deposit it as collateral. Yep, let's say one. Yeah, and the borrow interface kind of follows a standard AMM interface. So since it is a new primitive, it may seem complex at first, but our aim has always been to remove a lot of the complexities of DeFi. And so the borrow interface follows kind of a standard AMM interface almost. I apologize for the little dollar value bug that you may be seeing, but this is okay. So you put one staked Or as collateral. You have your LTV selection. If you see the little 25%, 50%, 75%, basically determines how aggressive you want your borrow position to be. But let's say you can keep it at 50%. That's what users usually use. You then see your loan to value basically shows what your collateral is valued at. You see the max borrow, which shows how much a user can borrow. And the liquidation is also someone's liquidation threshold.
I see.
And
Makes
if you
sense
just click,
so far.
yep, and if you just click borrow 18, let's say USDC,
Approved. Oh, I think it's because it did borrow.
Oh,
Transaction
yeah.
completed. Perfect.
Yeah, and now in your embedded wallet interface as well, you will see your borrow position. Maybe before clicking view position, we can kind of go straight into a loop because a lot of users have found a little bit of trouble figuring out their first time looping. So if we go back to the market and go on the trade page, essentially how you get a loop is by borrowing, depositing a token as collateral, borrowing, let's say in this case USDC, and then you use that USDC to swap here into more staked Or. if users, a lot of users are used to swapping on an aggregator as well. Omnipair's GA mempools, which is what our primitive is called, are integrated with Jupyter for swap routing. So here you would,
interesting.
yeah. So here, you would swap again.
Swapping again, signing, approving. Give me a moment. I don't know if you guys can see my wallet
Yeah,
on the screen or not, but there we go.
and then
Swaps completed.
great. And then we don't have to do the borrow again, but if you just go to the borrow tab again, you basically can then select staked Oregon and use it as collateral, and you repeat this kind of sequence until you want to achieve your leverage position.
Wow.
And
I mean, that's not too hard. That's pretty simple, in my opinion. Just jumping between the two tabs. Yeah, I get it, but that's it. There's
and
two tabs.
I'll tell you in a second how we are aiming to make it even much simpler and more interesting. But if you go back to the little wallet sidebar and you click view position, yep, and you scroll a little downwards, perfect. Yeah. So here you see your position below the chart, which shows your current loan to value, your max borrow loan to value, and your position health factor. Now, this is probably the most important number to pay attention to when users are borrowing. A position above 1 means your position is healthy, and at 1, it becomes eligible for liquidation. Now, as I said, lending price uses a time-weighted EMA, which actually smoothens the price and essentially gives traders a more safer experience where they have some time to adjust their position and add collateral if they see that their position is nearing the liquidation zone.
Interesting.
And how liquidations happen. So, usually other traditional lending protocols will use external makers who liquidate positions. On Omnipair, it is designed completely different. It is fully internalized using, basically when a position is liquidated, it uses a debt write-off mechanism where a user's collateral is just returned to the pool. There's also a liquidation fee of 3%, and liquidation calling on Omnipair is also entirely permissionless and has a 0.5% incentive to do so out of that liquidation fee. Essentially incentivizing users to keep the protocol healthy. And NLPs even generate an additional revenue stream from those liquidations, essentially being compensated for some of the risk that they bear, but that comes with the lending aspect of pools as well.
Interesting. Now, let me ask you now, in what you just told me, since you're using a time-weighted moving average of the price, let's say a 10-second wick hits on a token. There was manipulation in the market. Everything wicks down and wicks up. I know some other products out there that seem to they would take your liquidation from the Oracle and boom, you're done. Does the time-weighted moving average protect you from such instances?
Yes, it does. So since it is a time-weighted EMA, essentially there needs to be a sustained, very large, price change for the EMA to decrease to a lower price that would make your position eligible for liquidation. If, let's say, a very quick wick, like some, bad ones like 1010 and others we've seen happens, it will not necessarily liquidate your position and protects borrowers from such events that basically, make borrowers lose money unnecessarily when without that wick, their position, ends up being perfectly healthy again just seconds later or a
Wow,
minute later.
that's another. I mean, this is very innovative platform. It's completely different from
Thank
any
you.
other platform that I have heard or seen operate. Now, maybe did y'all borrow any inspiration or ideas, or is this all fresh? Like, I'm not even familiar with anything on each side that does this, and that's where I'm most familiar with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I can tell you a little bit of context of how this came to life. So I joined the team to drive our BD and growth in November. Um, our founder Raka has been building for over a year, and he was actually originally an Ethereum developer. And he once, long time ago, was working at a DeFi protocol, and he was on the team, so he had some tokens of that project, and he was in a position where he needed to access some capital, and he wanted to find a venue that has a lending market for that token, so he can get access capital without selling his team, his share of the team's allocation. And he looked around on lending markets and realized that there was just no lending market for it. He also at the same time just thought a lot about the fact that spot markets are to this day very capital inefficient and have a lot of idle liquidity. So he's just started exploring the idea. Something clicked in his head one day, and he started exploring the idea of why not combine the two primitives, and actually have the pool be what governs and enables lending as well.
Very
And
capital efficient.
then
That's very smart.
yeah, yeah. And this is actually one of the main problems we are aiming to tackle by essentially enabling liquidity to work harder. A lot of, I'm not sure how big the audience is into LPing, but one of the largest, I guess, problems in LPing is impermanent loss, which is when someone provides liquidity to a market because of price volatility, essentially, of a token. um, they essentially would have often been better off just holding the two tokens than if a token really goes up and actually the pool sells some of that token, into the pool, and you basically make either less or often long term, and LP barely even makes returns because of impermanent loss. Now, for now, we haven't seen, lending utilization to the point where it is much more capital efficient, but the overall goal of this is that unified liquidity pools aim to tackle and eventually remove the impermanent loss problem, which we are very excited about and are working towards.
Now, that's interesting because you're combining the LP with the loan revenue. And on top of that, when you have a primitive like ST staked ore, because staked ore
Yeah.
earns on its own by itself, just as a token, it's earning its APY. So in effect,
Yeah.
you're getting your market APR with combined both of those sources plus the currently is it 19% of staked ore. 17% is what I see on the website. So you're effectively getting both of those by using this tool, and provided you have a liquid staked token with revenue, you're effectively getting three
Yep.
sources of revenue from one market.
Yep, exactly. If we count liquidation fees, actually four
Oh,
sources. Yeah.
God, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, this is something new. I've never seen this type of implementation of a product. Now, I've had some help, with my last job. We did another product that was very straightforward, siloed individual vaults. That concept was very attractive to me because you don't want a liquidation cascade to wipe out multiple markets. An individual market's bad
Yeah.
enough if it gets wiped out. So you're isolated. Let me just recap. You're isolated. Your LPs are routed through Jupiter as well, so you're getting volume. And you're
Yep.
getting swap fees. You're not just out there by yourselves. You're getting
Yep.
your borrow, your rate, and your possible, if you're, I guess, is it a botting for liquidations? You have to run a bot to
Yeah.
trigger
Yep.
liquidations.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's a little more advanced, but it is entirely permissionless and can fully be done. And actually, I will share with you also our stats page. Also, I apologize for the past. We just have a little API. Oh, am I not able to post links? My bad. In the Minerside chat.
You should be. If not, do it in the general, and I'll
It's
open
all
it
right.
up from
Yeah,
there. But okay,
Yeah, if
we
you don't have the holder role, it will not allow you to post links.
Oh, sounds good. No worries. But I'll share maybe later. I can just share after this. I'll share our stats dashboard, which includes all the liquidations and everything's public. There has been no bad debt accumulated so far, except a tiny $1 or position or something like this. There's been over 64 total liquidations. The primitive has been working. We are very excited to bring it to Solana, and I also think I'm just very excited about having ore markets. Specifically, because to lay out a few potential use cases, for example, if you're an LP, you earn you keep earning your rewards as well as those additional 3 revenue streams. But also, if you are staking your ore and you need, kind of like our founder in his position, and you need access to capital, and you don't want to unstake your ore, you are able to just use that as collateral and borrow instantly and entirely permissionlessly. Another thing is you can, express. Ore's community is one of the most daily active believers and great communities from what I've seen, and now users can express their conviction a little harder and leverage Ore, which I think is beautiful, and yeah, I'm very excited about.
Wow, how did y'all get involved with Ore? Who helped push Ore onto the platform, or who gave y'all a heads up that Ore we exist?
Yeah, well, we've of course we've known Or from a time, and I'm actually a big fan of Or and Hard Hat Chad. But we also have Garrett, who is a an OG in our community, and he, I believe, has been around in the Omnipair community even much longer than before I joined. We have some other members that I believe are also very close with your community. And we also, I believe, got introduced as well by Coliseum, as Coliseum participated in Omnipair's MetaDAO raise. And yeah, I think from what I've seen, we have many, at least, 5 or maybe even more members who are in our community who are also very active in yours. So that's great to see.
Yeah, I was the one who created initially some of the pools with Ore and staked Ore on Omnipair, and I've been actually I mined Ore, the very first version of Ore, when it first launched, and have owned Ore and been following Ore for a long time. Um, and I was really excited about you know just about Ore, about the composability with DeFi and the self custody. And I really love the liquid staking token, because I had bought a lot of Ore a long time ago before this new version of mining came out last year. And so most of my Ore, I was just holding Ore outright. It wasn't unrefined. And so I've just been a big staker. And I was really excited about the liquid staking token. And, I love the composability with Solana DeFi. And Omnipair is, probably my favorite new DeFi primitive on Solana. So it just made a lot of sense to provide liquidity for Ore on Omnipair, because I think for Ore to become a store of value, you really need deep liquidity, and that's something that Hard Hat Chat has really emphasized in the past, is providing deep liquidity for the markets. And I think Omnipair is a really attractive place to do that. When you not only does it unlock borrow lending markets, but for an asset the size of Ore, that's really valuable. But it just is such an attractive place to LP, and I think by LPing, you're also doing a service for Ore by deepening that liquidity and really helping it become a store of value.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
this is
100%. And I
this is
think,
the most interesting
oh,
primitive of this type I've ever seen. I'll be honest.
thank you. Thank you. We're very glad to hear that. And yeah, I think this, strengthens the store of value thesis, 10x. It's I guess the next evolution of a store of value asset is for it to, behave like a real full financial asset. And now it basically has its own full money market, or it can have as many depending on, how many markets are deployed. Yeah, it just becomes a real full financial asset that can be able to be used as collateral. It is also very interesting to even have other pools and assets be paired with, let's say, staked Ore, and that other pair. So let's say the staked Ore still, generates yield, or you can even use tokens as collateral to borrow staked Ore or Ore. making it a real, just fully composable asset across DeFi on a platform that enables every market function, meaning spot, lending, and leverage. And
Yeah, I
I've
would.
heard. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
No,
I just wanted
actually,
to.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I would really like to see OR paired with more tokens as a trading pair, just because I kind of remember from back in the day that a lot of crypto tokens would be paired with Bitcoin, and I just think it would be exciting to see more tokens on Solana paired with OR as a trading pair, so that if anyone's denominating their portfolio in OR or I just think it would be a really efficient way to create more liquidity for OR while also kind of bringing out more mind share and just seeing OR as like a quote asset and more trading pairs, I think would be exciting.
True. Liquidity is one of the understated
Yeah.
kings of whales. Whales don't want to get in a token that they can't get out of quickly. They don't want to take a 6 or 10% price impact on the way in and on the way out. Whales one clip all the time. So liquidity is definitely something that attention needs to be paid to it for any token, especially one like OR that wants to be a store of value. So great service from that side of the equation. Thank you for pushing or launching the market in Omnipair. That's really awesome of you, sir. Um, but yeah, this is something definitely to check out. And I think a lot of viewers, when we put this episode on X, are not quite understanding what Omnipair really does. And this is, again, when I start these shows, I don't completely explore because I want to be surprised naturally, and I am surprised. This is really cool
Well,
platform,
I'm glad to hear that.
and yeah, I've never seen this combination on the Ethereum side. I've been in Ethereum since 2019 and done all kinds of stuff, but they have never combined all the aspects of lending and swaps and the leverage. I see you have a coming soon sign over there, but you can manually lever
Yeah.
yourself up. It's really interesting, and I'm glad that OR is a part of your story now.
Yep, and we are even more happy, and hope to explore what else we can do to benefit both OR and enable amazing new DeFi utility on Omnipair as well. And for anyone listening, or if anybody has any more questions, or when they're using the platform, if they don't understand something, please feel free to come into our Discord. We're active there. We'll answer any questions. If you have any feedback or you see any bugs, we are always there, and always, our users are the most important. So we are still early. We, are excited to onboard new users, new markets, and very happy about this.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's a great presentation. It's definitely not something that I am even close to, used to. It seems pretty unique in its aspects of how it handles DeFi. There were a few questions from the chat I wanted you to answer if you don't mind.
Yep.
Perfect. So the first one from Mad Hatter, it's most of them will be from Mad Hatter. Is Omnipair open source and audited?
Yes, it is fully open source. We have a GitHub repo that you can find in our links. And we have gone through 2 security audits, one with Aki blockchain security and one with Offside Labs.
Fantastic to hear. I know security is a very, very big point of contention nowadays. So it's great to hear that you guys are open source and audited to really give users peace of mind. I had a question. And you have to excuse me, I'm more of an LP noob than some of our users might be. How is the LP routed from your service? Like, for example, if I go to Jupiter and like want to buy or is your the LP pools on Omnipair picked up automatically, or is there another
Yeah.
way that I would have to utilize those LPs?
No, the spot part, the swaps part works just like an AMM, and we are fully integrated with Jupiter. So if you go onto Jupiter right now and would like to swap, let's say, USDC for a staked OR, it'll route through Omnipair pools.
Awesome. And then Matt Hatter had a concern. He wanted to know more about the security aspect, right? So if any SPL token can be listed, can an attacker seed fake liquidity, like self-trade to manufacture price history and then bootstrap EMA to arbitrary levels? I think he's referring to kind of what happened on Drift.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do my best to answer this. I hope I give a technical enough of an answer, but it is not, Omnipair is specifically designed to not enable that to happen. First of all, with Drift, a protocol like this is cross margin, where risk is basically shared across all assets. So for one, every pool, anything that happens in one pool stays in only that pool. And since lending is priced by the moving average, um, to move it meaningfully, they really have to, it's very economically unviable, as they would have to trade with very large size across a long, like a very basically across many blocks, um, against yeah. And the second defense we have is also the impact aware collateral factor. So it basically scales down as your position size grows relative to the pool. So if an attacker um, manufactured like an elevated EMA, the moment they try to borrow a very large amount against it, that LTV compresses and lowers the collateral factor, and then it's just not possible to extract more than the pool can safely handle at that moment.
So
I
it,
hope
if
that
there
was,
was
yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good explanation. So essentially the fact that it's siloed, number one, and number two, I mean, if somebody were to stand up a pool and they're the only user in that pool creating this artificially inflated token, I mean, they'd essentially be borrowing from themselves unless somebody else put money in, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So there's no real risk like we have where collateral pools are crossed. So this is
yeah,
everything
exactly.
siloed. So that should prevent something like a drift attack.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. And
Mad Hatter.
if you'd
Oh, go
like, I
ahead.
would also. Oh, yeah. Was there another question? I was going
Um,
to mention a little bit about basically still the risk of bad debt, and just the protection against it, and basically,
yeah,
yeah. And it's kind of a similar explanation. I mean, one, a bad debt event, yeah, in a pool cannot touch any other pool, and if bad debt does occur within the pool, the loss is socialized proportionally across all LPs within that pool. So no single LP gets like how do you say, singled out, or it takes the bigger hit. And the rest of the design that I mentioned, like the EMA pricing and stuff like that, makes flash loan manipulation impossible, and basically creates a system that provides a defense against these attack vectors that have been there on existing traditional lending protocols.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the socialized, because the socialized losses on an individual siloed vault and individual siloed LPers. Saying that outright and upfront clears up so much mystery, because it seems like when these vaults on other platforms get hit, they decide after the fact to socialize the losses, or they decide after the fact to go this route to reimburse. It's it's like, what?
Yeah,
So actually having a plan in place before anything like that happens speaks volumes.
yeah, yeah. And if anybody else has any questions and I wasn't able to answer, or you still have any doubts, again, please feel free to hop into our Discord as well, and the rest of our team can also chime in.
Well, very cool, guys. This has been an awesome view into Omnipair. I'm glad y'all came on the show. Um, guys, tell me, how do we follow Omnipair? What is your X handle for Omnipair?
Yeah, for sure. It is just Omnipair.
Omnipair?
Yeah, please follow. We've been quite active, and we are very, very locked in on shipping our leverage interface, which will be a full margin trading experience for all of Solana's long tail assets that previously didn't have this, which we're very excited about. It'll have, advanced charts. It'll have take profits, stop losses. I think some of these features will just be much better for the user experience compared to, I mean, the looping is great, but a leverage interface that abstracts that
Yeah,
um, complexity will
complexity.
be amazing. Or for other assets that don't require a full chart, it'll have a similar just looping interface where you basically adjust your leverage and it does your trade automatically.
And without synthetic price fees from oracles. That's crazy.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
crazy. Well, guys, thank you all for coming on the show. That is
Thanks
Garrett.
you.
You can
Thanks to
follow
you.
him at inserto_123, and Ivan, who's at Trace up here in the top right. Gosh, thank you all guys for showing us this, and I'm curious. I definitely want to explore it more. So I don't know about you,
Of
Starship, but
course.
I'm going to go explore.
I am going
I'm
to
glad.
explore as well. I've just kind of started my LP journey recently, providing liquidity for ore. So
Nice.
I'm super excited to see how to honestly like this overwhelms me a little bit. But I'm gonna probably join the Discord, ask more questions, get a little bit more involved to try to
Just leap
understand a
right
little
in.
bit more of the yeah, and
No
yeah,
understand, just leap.
I always love to just dig right into these like new tools, so to speak. Because documentation's cool and all, but once I get my hands dirty, then I really start to understand it. So, definitely going to be depositing and trying it out and see how everything works. Once again, make sure that you follow Omnipair on Twitter, and if you're trying to find their Discord, you can see it's right there in their bio. So make sure you're going to their official Discord to find it, or their official Twitter to find it. Yeah, it's been awesome having you guys on. Really happy that you guys walked us through, and I hope that our users will utilize the service, check it out, and see if it's right for them, and definitely reach out to them for questions.
Yeah, sure thing. And thanks a lot, guys, for having me on. And I hope to be back.
I would thank you guys. Well, I appreciate everybody
Yeah, thanks
coming and
for
everybody in
having
the
us.
Discord.
Absolutely. Any closing thoughts, Brian, before we conclude?
Yeah, or is just getting a bigger and wider web, a larger net of builders that are building on top of it. And the quality is getting better and better with each passing month. That's my
Absolutely.
closing thought.
We started off with auto miners primarily. They're the ones who kind of stuck through our little winter, and now we're seeing more protocols and products that are being built with, either they're integrating or they have or as a central focus of their products. So it's exciting that we're starting to see that ecosystem expand, and I think over time we'll see more and more products utilize or in some fashion.
Smells like winning to me.
Well,
Beautiful. All
awesome.
right, guys.
Well, it was great having everybody on. Until the next Minerside Chat, this is Starship Fronk signing off.
And Brian, y'all have a good one. See you later.